Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, it's time for another Mass Make Monday. If you're new to my channel, what I do is I set a timer for 45 minutes and see how many of a particular item I can make in that time. And today what I want to work on making is some skinny tags to go into the stacked pockets. I'll leave a link for the video where I showed you how I made these stacked pockets down below. And so that's what we're going to focus on. And the measurements I'm using for my stacked pocket tags are, I'm going to do, the tall ones are going to be 6 by 2.5 wide. And then for the shorter ones, I need them to be 2 by 2.5 wide. So those are what I'm going to end up cutting my papers down to. I've got a bunch of printables. So let me go through those real quick. And they kind of go with the stacked pockets I've already made. Obviously, this is one for my bee journal. And so let's set that aside for now. So this is Liana Scap's. This one's my Porch Prints. This one's my Porch Prints. This one's Giggle Glitter GFX. So is this one. And this one is one I can't think of right now, but I think is Liana Scap's. Apologies. I will leave links to everybody down below. And I'm going to start off by cutting my papers to size real quick. And actually what I'm going to do first is start my timer. All right, now I'm going to cut my papers down to size real quick. And I think I'm going to start by trimming them down to 6 inches. And that's actually going to leave the bottom half of the page is going to be 2.5. So I may leave that size-wise for the short ones. I don't know. I may change my mind. I've got some stuff in my way. Let's move that. All right. I'm going to cut these guys down to 6. So how's everybody doing this fine Monday? I'm doing pretty good. I have a car again. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned in the last Mass Make Monday that my car was in the shop and I finally got my car back. So it's running beautifully again. So that's good news. I can actually, run errands on my own timetable instead of having to rely on my father, who has been playing chauffeur for the last couple weeks. So yeah, I got my car back Monday evening, so that was nice. And I believe in the last Mass Make Monday, I told you about my semi-emergency trip to the vet's office with my dog Powell. He is doing fine. They put him on a variety of medications for pain and muscle relaxants and anti-inflammatory and medication to keep him calm so that he doesn't re-injure himself. And he had his follow-up visit with the vet and everything looks good. So she just suggested that I continue to have him rest for the next couple weeks. So I will keep giving him the medication to, keep him somewhat quiet and relaxed. All right, let's cut some of these down now to 2.5. Now, of course, you don't have to use printables for these. You could very well use coffee dyed paper, book page, whatever you got that you want to use to create your tags is fine. And I'm just going to cut a bunch of these because I figure whichever ones don't go in to my skinny pockets can be used for something else. This is, how big is this? It's 3.5. All right, I think we're going to leave this to be used as like a journaling card or something else because each stacked pocket has 2 of the tall pockets and then 2 of the shorter pockets. So we'll do those. Let's cut this one down. And I'm realizing I'm probably going to need more paper for the bee journal ones. Nope. This should get me. I think got 4 bee journals, so I need, all right, so this one I'm gonna go ahead and trim and leave just a little scrap for using on something else so that I can make enough for the bee journals for sure. So yeah, that's where we're at puppy-wise. He's doing fine. He's actually, I think, sleeping on the dog bed on the other side of this room right now. So we will keep him on his medication. And the one medication that they gave me to keep him calm so that he's not jumping around like a loony, the directions on the bottle also advise to give it 2 hours before an event likely to induce anxiety, which he gets very stressed out going to the vet. Like, I hate having to take him to the vet because he wigs out the entire time he's there. He's climbing on me, bouncing around, like he cannot settle down. He's whining, he's drooling, like he gets all kinds of stressed out. So I decided before I took him in for his follow-up vet visit to give him a dose as directed 2 hours before we left. And he was much calmer. Now, he was not happy-go-lucky puppy, but he was definitely a calmer pooch than he normally is. Right. I think for this one, I'm also gonna do 4 because I don't remember how many sewing themed, because I can't tell this is a sewing themed printable, I have done. So we'll do that to make sure, because I think I have 2 of them done, and then we've got 2 more pieces to do this with. So let's go ahead and trim these all down. Now I may go back and back these with coffee dyed paper just to add a little more heft to them, because when sticking stuff into a pocket, especially these pockets that are kind of narrow, if what you're putting in is too flimsy, you will struggle to get it to go into the pocket. Whereas if it's a little firmer, it'll go in easier. All right, let's do this one. So yeah, today's gonna be more decorating than assembly, which is, I know, a change for me since most of mine are all about the assembly and we get to do 0 decorating. And I just realized I left the bits and bobs I want to use for decorating over by my couch because I was fussy cutting stuff last night. So I'm gonna need to go get that. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'll go grab that. So talk amongst yourselves for a second. All right, hold on, I'm gonna pause. All right, I'm back, and let's cut down the rest for the smaller tags. And whew, I am like knocking stuff all over the place surrounding me. There's stuff all over the floor around me. So yeah, I've got craft-a-lanches going off everywhere. All right, so we're gonna cut these down to 2.5. I gotta remember to hold down this piece. Gonna try cutting 2 at a time. I always struggle with that. I feel like the paper always moves on me, like the bottom one. Even though I know it's faster and more efficient to cut multiples at a time, I feel like I always get a wonky cut when I do that. But we're gonna give it a try. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's been anything else all that exciting going on in my life. I'm still working on getting my craft space completely organized. going to work, you know, 5 days a week. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything of note. Last week, when my dad was driving us to the grocery store, he had on a classic rock station, and the song came on, and it was Bon Jovi's "You Give Love a Bad Name," and it just made me feel old that the songs of my childhood are now considered classic rock. It's also bothered by the fact that it was like Bon Jovi remixing their own song as kind of like a jazzy ballad. Like, it did not compute for me for "You Give Love a Bad Name." I just, you know, it was just, the tempo was just too slow. I was like, wait, this is not right. So yeah, so in addition to feeling really, really old because the music of my youth is now considered classic rock, I was bothered by the adult contemporary vibe of the Bon Jovi remake of a song from my youth. So there was that. Let's see. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of tags. Well, soon to be tags. I think I'm going to go ahead and round all the bottom corners because that makes it easier for stuff to fit into pockets. And I'm just using my corner rounder. Now, if you don't have a corner rounder, you can always take a pair of scissors and eyeball round it. You could take a round object you have. I know one of the suggestions is you can use like the corners of the distress ink pads to create rounded corners. You could also use a coin. So whatever you got, you can use to round your corners. I'm gonna probably hold off a little while on topping my tags, like figuring out what I want on the top of the tags, just because it's going to depend on how I'm decorating, but I do want to round bottom corners. And if I end up backing these, I'm going to be annoyed at myself for having done this because I'm going to have to go back and redo. But such is life, you know. All right, so let's get all of these rounded real quick, because I'm hoping to get most of these. You know, and I can do these 2 at a time. Let's speed this process up by doing multiples at once. I think I may have grabbed 3 that time. Got pieces of paper flying everywhere. So have you been watching anything good on TV lately? I've been watching 911. Last night was 911, Grey's Anatomy, and Station 19. So I watched all those, and I don't know. I think 911 may have hit its breaking points for me to watch anymore, because there's definitely a couple storylines they've got going on now that I'm like, what? Where did this, like, if you haven't seen it or don't watch it, I don't want to give anything away, but the current storyline involving Buck was kind of this came out of nowhere. And it's funny because I saw an article where they're like, this was years in the making. I'm like, really? Because I'm pretty sure every single person who's been watching this show since the beginning went, what? When they did what they did. Which, not that I'm bothered by the storyline in and of itself. I'm bothered by the fact that it seemed so utterly random, like out of nowhere randomness. That's what bugs me. All right, let's do these guys real quick too. So, yeah, I'm not bothered by the story itself so much as the there was no lead up to it. It's just like, wait, what? Huh? Okay, you're going that way. All right. And then they've just started a storyline with Eddie that I'm already annoyed at. And it was part of one episode, so I'm like, ugh. So, as much as I love the crew of the, I think it was 118, I have a feeling I may not be watching 911 if it comes back again next season, because this season has not been giving me the warm fuzzies. I've been kind of like, why am I watching this? And you know, Grey's Anatomy, this is like its 20th season, so things are getting a little predictable. Like, kind of saw where something was going almost as soon as the characters appeared. I'm like, oh, I know what you're doing with that one. So, and then this is the last season of Station 19, so I'm gonna enjoy the last season of Station 19. So I have no complaints about Station 19 as of right now. But that's the only one of my Thursday night viewings I'm not complaining about. I also watch, although I don't tend to watch it live, I tend to wait and watch it again later. I'm just double checking which way this one goes. And these guys are squares, so it does not matter to go that way and that one to go that way. So we're going to round these a little differently there. I've started watching also on Thursday nights is Elspeth, which is a spin-off from The Good Wife and The Good Fight, with the character Elspeth Tassioni, and I just adore her. I absolutely adore her character. All right, let's start decorating these guys up. All right, let's start with, I'm thinking let's mix things up so we do for each pairing. For this one, since I printed out 2 pages, I can do that for going into a single pocket, stacked pocket. If I had been thinking, I would have done the same for the other papers as well, but oh well, too late now. All right, so we need some decorations. And as I am getting close to finished on my bee journals, I'm running out of stuff to decorate them with. Let's go with that on there. And maybe this one on here. And then we need something for the big guys. So yeah, I might be struggling a bit to put these together since I've been using up the bits and bobs I have. Because yeah, I would ideally like to not have any bee themed stuff left over after I finish all of the bee journals, because all right, we're gonna go with those for that. Because Lord knows when or if I'm ever going to do another bee journal, so I don't want to have a bunch of stuff taking up space in my stash after I finish with these bee journals. I want to be done with the bee journals and all the bee stuff. So my goal is to use up most, if not all, of the stuff I've printed, created, pulled out for bee journals. So yeah, this is just a matter of building some stacked up bits and bobs. And we're gonna, of course, ink edges. And then I want my stamped bits and bobs. So these are just strips of paper that I stamped using my Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous. That's gonna go there. And it'll come to me in a minute. Really, it will. I'm sure I'll think of what the other stamps are. Creative Expression stamps, like my sample Creative Expression stamps. So yeah, I just took a bunch of bits and bobs, or a bunch of my brain is, I cannot sit and talk while trying to pull things out clearly. I took a bunch of strips of paper and just stamped a bunch of numbers and dates and stuff onto the pieces of paper, and then trimmed it down accordingly so that now I've got bits and bobs to use on my clusters and stuff. And I'm just checking my template. This is 2 inches, isn't it? Yep, those templates are too narrow. Just checking to see if I had a 2.5 inch tag top. Got 3. Oh, I do have a 2.5 inch. Okay, I do have fancy tag templates. So what I may do is do a few of these as fancy. And I've got a video, I'll link it down below, where I show you how I created these templates, so that I can use them on these types of projects. Let's go here for this one. I'm thinking these, I'm just gonna clip the corners on. All right, so let me grab scissors, shift this aside, and we're gonna trim out. I'm really gonna regret this decision later if I decide to back it. I think we're gonna see how well it goes into the pocket once I'm done making it to determine if I desperately need to back it or not. Do that, and I'm gonna shift this stuff over here and do this one. Yes, the bee journals are nearing completion. All right, let's start inking and gluing stuff down. So I'm gonna grab my Fossilized Amber Distress Oxide ink because I like color. And I'm gonna ink these edges. I think that one's probably gonna get brown edges. Let's see, I'm trying to think of something to actually talk to you about so that you're not just watching me craft in silence. But I honestly am drawing a complete and utter blank. All right, I'm grabbing over a piece of paper to protect my work surface, my brush, and my antique linen to knock back all the white on this guy. This is a printable by Art Treasury, I believe. These guys, I believe, are Abrotiqu, and then the label printables are Junk Journal Studio, which, if you've been watching my various videos lately, you know I've got all of the pastel ones she came out with this year. I think I'm going to knock back the whiteness of this. Anybody else? All right, let's do all of these. Oh, these two. Yeah, you may notice that they're not all perfectly straight, but that's okay. I can straighten those out. All right, and I'm gonna grab some vintage photo to ink the edges of this label. And we're gonna start gluing down. All right, before I glue this down, I want to place this one behind. So I'm going there. We're gonna do that. And I just realized I need to ink the edges on this. And as I said before, inking edges is completely optional. I do it mostly to cover up poor fussy cutting and to make things stand out a little bit more against their background. All right, I know I just need to cut more of this away. Sorry about this. I don't like to cut teeny tiny bits like this out in advance because it makes the piece more delicate and likely to get damaged. But sometimes once you put it on, even with adding the antique linen, it still doesn't necessarily work. So we're gonna just quickly trim this away because, boy, we're more than halfway through our 45 minutes and we haven't gotten any done yet. Hey, raise your hand if you're shocked to hear my mass make is not resulting in the making of a mass quantity of finished items. And presumably only someone who's new to this channel and my Mass Make Mondays will be raising their hands because, yeah, this is pretty much how it goes every week. Perhaps should rename this to Attempted Mass Make Mondays. Because, yeah, that 45 minutes goes by way faster than you'd think. Pull you down a little bit more, have the drips go off the label. There we go. So we got one done. Let's ink. Now I don't want to get too thick with any of my embellishments. Like I've got the 49 in Market laser cut elements, which are a little bit thicker. They're not full on chipboard, but they got a little bit of heft to them. And I wouldn't want to put them on these because these pockets are a little on the snug side. So I want to keep my decorating fairly flat. Glue down. Feel a little bad that I'm covering up that pretty flower, but I do want to decorate this some, so that case file set to go down there. Yeah, okay, that works. So yeah, just putting a little bit on to add a little bit more interest to them. All right, that one's done. I got these two guys. This one I want to rip off the bottom straight-ish. So I'm gonna grab a ruler and use that to help me. Now this is on antique book page, so it's fairly delicate. I'm gonna be cautious in my ripping. All right, let's tag corner cut these. And I'm using a template I made out of an old gift card. There are a lot of ways you can cut your tags shapes. I know There are punches out there that do it, although from what I've seen, the punches tend to make very small tag corners on stuff. You can always cut your one corner off and then flip it and use that to cut the other corner if you want to make sure both sides are the same. Or you could just eyeball it on both sides. I like having the template because I find holding the piece I cut off a lot fiddlier than holding the template to the piece, because I've got more space to grip with my gift card template. So that's why I did that. And pretty much all you do is cut the corners. You can also take a tag that you have that already has the corners cut off of and use that as a template for creating your template if you wanted to. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm like, everyone has an old gift card, an old credit card, you know, some old piece of plastic. Heck, credit card companies sometimes still send that fake credit card in with their credit card offers, which just seems silly, but whatever. So you could always use something like that. Heck, you could create it out of craft plastic if you didn't have a credit card and are desperately wanting to create one. I feel like this needs to get trimmed down a little bit, just given the scale of our little tag here. Sorry if I was off screen. Needed to bring it closer to myself so I could see. Come back here. Runaway number. All right, that one's done. And then we've got one more. And we can move on to another pair. And I'm torn because part of me is like, I really should just work on the bee ones because I really want to get the bee journals done, because I don't know about you, but I'm kind of getting sick of the bee journals. But the flip side of that is I'm kind of getting sick of the bee journals, so I kind of want to do something not bee themed. So I may do one of the flowery ones instead next, since I'm not sure we're going to be able to have time to do much more than one more on screen, which technically speaking, we are creating 4 tags for each pocket. So I may have only gotten the tags for one pocket done so far, but I did make 4 tags. So that is something. Let's stick this down. And I'm gonna grab another set of 4 tags. Since I do want to mix it up, I'm gonna grab 2 of these. And then somewhere in here are the 2 little guys that go with these. And let's grab some cute things to go on. Just checking sizing wise to make sure these will fit. Yeah, those are too big for that. Let's see, do we have smaller ones that will fit? And this is why I'm gonna end up running out of time, is because I'm like, this, no, maybe this, will this fit? Okay, that's a yes for that one. That I'm okay trimming some of the overhang off, so we're going to use that on that one. We're going to trim a little off of that one.
trim a little off of that one. All right, I'm just trying to make a decision as to whether they really need anything else. And I think I know what I want. I just don't know where they are. Oh, you know where they are? I know where they are. Not in there. In here. I think. Oh, I just have the big ones. I don't know where the little ones of those are. All right, so let's get back over here and let's find a couple small labels for those guys. I think we're gonna go that one for that one. That for that one. And then maybe that, because odd numbers tend to be more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, which is why I tend to work in odd numbers when I'm doing stuff. So this one, I'm trying to figure out if I put this down here with this kind of across the bottom of the leaves, like so. Feel like a partial label over here would be what I want. Maybe like that. Okay. And I think for the smaller ones, because I picked such large flowers that I'm putting on there, I'm just gonna leave those like that. Let's pull over our antique linen to knock back the whiteness of the white space on these. And these are ginger journals, as are those. And I think this one I may have used, did I use? Yes, because the cutting's kind of a little wonkier than I would do. I used my scan and cut to cut out that one. All right, let's do all of these. So yeah, I'm still working on perfecting my technique with the scan and cut for cutting out fussy cuts, because yeah, getting it to recognize, and with some of the flowers I ended up cutting off little pieces, and I was like, yeah, that's okay, you really can't tell that bits are missing because it was just easier. But yeah, trying to perfect the settings on it so that it picks up everything and cuts all the parts out is a work in progress. And the other problem is right now I don't have space in my craft room for it, so I'm not using it as much because it requires me to sit in another room completely from the room where, you know, this is the, okay, I think we're gonna angle that like so and just glue that down. See, so it doesn't have to be a ton of decoration. You could keep it fairly simple on these guys and that'd be a-okay. And I have a feeling these are going to be the only ones we get done today. Again, not terribly shocking, but I was kind of hoping to get a few more done than I'm going to. And I'll just go around and trim off any excess that's overhanging because I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. Like that. And like that. And then this one is going to get this set of flowers like so. And I will just, what I'm going to do is pretty much take this off all the way, glue it down. it on like so. Still gonna need to trim a few bits off, but that's okay. All right, let's glue these on. And let's not push that down all the way since I want this to slip under. I'm gonna grab some spun sugar. Dauber was last used using Kitchen Flamingo, so it's probably gonna end up being pinker than spun sugar, but that's fine. And I'm gonna just figure out how far I need to glue, because I will save the part I cut off and use it on something else. So I'm just sticking that down and sticking that down. Everybody stuck down, and then this piece. And we'll trim our overhanging bits. That is so not straight. Really not all that shocking either. At least I recognize my shortcomings. One being, I never managed to mass make very much on Mass Make Mondays. Two, I can't manage to keep things straight to save my life. But I have fun and I go with the flow, and I'm not all that bothered by a lack of straightness in my crafting. And I should have put that one under. Are we fully stuck down yet? No. All right. Excellent. So let's ink this. Add a little bit more glue under here. And then do this. Really like how this one came out. All right, let's do our tops, and I think I want to do fancy tops on this one again, if I can find what I did with the template. Yeah, my craft space is currently a complete and utter disaster area. Where did I just had it? What did I do with it? I'm gonna run out of time hunting for this dang template that I just had. Ah, here it is. This one will be this guy. And I have no idea where the pencil went, so we're just gonna grab another one. Now I made the template out of a piece of comic book board, so what I tend to prefer to do is to trace the shape onto my tag and then cut, and not use the template, hold the template to the piece as I'm cutting. Just because I'm pretty sure I'd end up mucking up my template if I did that. And look at that, we are probably just gonna manage to finish these guys. want to ink the edges. And I think for these, I want to add a hole reinforcer and a hole at the top. Let's grab these two guys, and to save time, I'm going to try cutting them together with my template that I did not put. Oh, here it is. Whew. Thought I was going to have to go hunting for that too. These two I'm going to ink with pink along the sides. The other two I want to do blue. Which I'm probably going to do off camera because we've got about 22 seconds left, so I really want to grab my hole reinforcers and pull out. These are die by Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I just re-die cut the flower shaped ones, and I can't seem to find another flower shaped one, of course, because I'm on a time. Oh wait, there's one. So there we go. That's time. I'm just going to take a moment to add the hole reinforcers. So what I'm gonna do is put them on a piece of paper, grab a dauber, and turn them pink. So I usually use this die to cut out my hole reinforcers from book page and then ink when I'm gonna use it on a project, so that I can customize it to the project I'm working on. All right, so let's glue this down. I'm going to stick it right there and do one on the other one too. Okay, so we're at time. I'll finish inking the edges off camera because, well, it's not all that exciting to watch me ink edges. And here's what we got done. Now, technically this is only gonna fill the pockets on 2 of the stacked pockets, but we've got the lovely pink florally ones done. And we've got our bumblebee ones done, but I did manage to create 8 completed tags in the time, so perhaps not as good as I would have liked, but not as bad as it could have been, since, you know, 8's a pretty good number of tags to get fully decorated, cut, and ready to go into a journal. And let's actually, I'll show you real quick how those are going to go into the pockets in this journal. So we've got that one goes in there, and that one can go in there. And I may end up sticking something on top to help with pulling it out. And this guy can go into this pocket. And this one can go, this one's a side pocket, so it can just go in like, uh-oh. This one I may need to trim down a little, since it's a sticking and not wanting to go in. So I may be trimming a little off the top of this to get it to go in better. So they're gonna go in those pockets, and yeah, there may be some trimming up to do to ensure that our side one will go in. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.